Recording of Mastermind number 75 and Rich Dad Poor Dad webinar, March 18th, 2024. This is our agenda for today. I just read the disclaimer. Not a licensed financial advisor, consult a licensed professional when making all decisions, and investing involves risk of loss. This is how these meetings were really inspired through Think and Grow Rich. And let's jump right into it now. So we're going to start with Rich Dad Poor Dad. And we're on chapter, let's see. So again, this is a book that was written by Robert Kiyosaki. Like him or not, this book has had a big impact on many persons in terms of helping them with their financial education, things you may not have learned in school. So let's see where it is that we are. He's written a number of different other books as well. And so far we've gone over why the rich don't work for money, why teach financial literacy, minding your own business, the history of taxes and the power of corporations, the rich invent money, working to learn, not working for money. And the last chapter we went over was overcoming obstacles. Now we're at getting started. So as we're at getting started, let's jump right to it. So I believe we started part 3. So in this chapter, it gave practical steps as to getting to a certain point. Number 1, finding a reason greater than your reality. You know, what exactly is that power of spirit? Second, talking about making daily choices and the power of choice. Part 3 went into, let's see here, choosing friends carefully and the power of association. No, not listening to frightened people, but having friends who want the same things it is that you want. And so we're on to part 4 now, where it is that we're talking about master a formula, then learn a new one, the power of learning quickly. So let's jump right into this one. In order to make bread, every baker follows a recipe. Smaller, make this bigger. There we go. In order to make bread, every baker follows a recipe, even if it's only held in their head. The same is true for making money. Most of us have heard the saying, you are what you eat. I have a different slant. I say, you become what you study. In other words, be careful what you learn, because your mind is so powerful that you become what you put in your head. For example, if you study cooking and then tend to cook, you then tend to cook. If you don't want to be a cook anymore, then you need to study something else. When it comes to money, the masses generally have one basic formula they learned in school, and it's this: work for money. The predominant formula I see in the world is that every day millions of people get up, go to work, earn money, pay bills, balance checkbooks, buy some mutual funds, and go back to work. That's the basic formula or recipe. If you're tired of what you're doing and you're not making enough, it's simply a case of changing the formula via which you make money. Years ago, when I was 26, I took a weekend class called How to Buy Real Estate Foreclosures. I learned a formula. The next trick was to have the discipline to actually put into action what I had learned. That's where most people stop. For 3 years, while working for Xerox, I spent my spare time learning to master the art of buying foreclosures. I've made several $1 million using that formula. So after I mastered that formula, I went in search of other formulas. For many of the classes, I did not directly use the information I learned, but I always learned something new. I've attended classes designated for derivative traders, commodity option traders, and chaologists. I was way out of my league, being in a room full of people with doctorates in nuclear physics and space science. Yet I learned a lot that made my stock in real estate investing more meaningful and lucrative. Most junior colleges and community colleges have classes on financial planning and buying traditional investments. They're good places to start, but I always search for a faster formula. That's why on a fairly regular basis, I make more in a day than many people will make in their lifetime. Another side note, in today's fast changing world, it's not so much what you know anymore that counts, because often what you know is old. It's how fast you learn. That skill is priceless. It's priceless in finding faster formulas, recipes, if you will, for making dough. Working hard for money is an old formula born in the day of cavemen. And that stops it there for now. That's all we're really gonna cover. I'm taking this slow, one bit at a time here. So this chapter is talking about master a formula and then learn a new one. The power of learning quickly. Now, this is following off of, again, You'll probably see some similarities here. So first we spoke about this. So this itself is a formula in terms of getting started. Number one, finding a reason greater than reality. You want to find something that is not exactly about, the money. There's a reason why you're doing whatever it is that you may be doing. Then it's a matter of committing to that and making daily choices. The power of choice cannot be underestimated, and you realize that daily you're making different choices, and making that choice to stay committed to the thing it is that you want is what will help you in terms of making those incremental gains that you're making daily, not just financially, but actually just changing your habits, choosing to do one thing, choosing to read a book as opposed to watching television, choosing to learn about investing as opposed to doing the same thing you've always done in terms of the traditional dogma. Then you realize that you're going a lonely road. You need to choose your friends carefully, and there's a power in terms of that association. So it's not a matter that, oh, you only have friends who make money. Not exactly. It's more a matter of, it's important to have friends who want to make money if you yourself want to make money. It's kind of the same thing. Master a formula and then learn a new one. And that's what this part talked about, the power of learning quickly. So notice what it talks about. Master a formula and then learn a new one, not learn five different formulae at once. So you master one formula, realize that, okay, this is how this works. And then you learn a new one, right? And there's a power in learning quickly. And so Kiyosaki talked about, used the example of how he took a weekend course in learning how to buy foreclosures. And he went ahead, utilized that to make millions of dollars over a period of time, millions of dollars over the period of the next couple of, his lifetime, really. Because nobody can take away that knowledge from you, right? And so as it is that you go ahead and do that, right? If you're tired of what you're doing, if you're not making enough, it's simply a case of changing that formula via which you make money. Most people's traditional formula that they make money is go to work, get a job, go to work, and you're still doing the same thing, buying mutual funds and gambling on maybe some stocks or so. And if that's for you, then sure. But this book isn't exactly for you who are it's for you who are looking at doing more and being more. And so he talks about how he was working full time at Xerox. Why? Because they had the best sales training program, and how in his spare time he spent time learning to master the art of buying foreclosure, as he talks about right here. And he's made several $1 million using that formula. So he wasn't seeing exactly instant results, but he stayed committed to it. And then he attended classes designed for derivative traders, commodity option traders, and chaologists. And he was way out of his league, but guess what? He learned different things from those different situations that helped him to make his investing more meaningful and lucrative. And so traditional education, teaches you how to buy these traditional investments, and financial planning. They're good places to start, but they're always faster formulae. You want to collapse time frames. What's something that would take you 20 years to learn can take you 5 years or maybe 2 years, right? You want to collapse time frames and pay for speed as it is that you want to go ahead and do. And frequently there is some amount of finance that's included in terms of you getting that. But when you look at how much it makes you over a period of time, it's like, okay, this was worth it. So in today's fast changing world, it's not so much what you know anymore that counts, because often what you know is old. It's how fast you learn. That skill is priceless. It's priceless in finding faster formulae, recipe, if you will, for making dough. This reminds me of personally situations where I spent a bit of time spent a fair amount of time understanding different markets, cryptocurrencies, extended amount of time understanding that, private equity, spend a fair amount of time investing and learning about that, foreign exchange trading, understanding that market and how exactly it works, and real estate, right? Those are different markets that I've personally invested my own money into, education, mentorship, networking, and more in terms of understanding how exactly they work. But no, I mean, I'm not going to say it is that I'm the best at each of them, but I have a very good grasp of each of those markets and I understand how to navigate each of them. And that's something I took from this book actually, and from learning from different people who have had a lot more experience in life it is than I have. So, do yourself a favor. If it is that you're looking at going to the next level, master a formula and then learn a new one, because there's a power in learning quickly. So you completely immerse yourself in a subject and then you go ahead and you continue to learn. So we'll pause there for now. And then next week we're gonna go on to our next part in pay yourself first and the power of self-discipline. So we'll pause there for now, and that concludes our section on Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And now we're going to move into our real estate component, and we're talking about quotes in real estate. Quotes in real estate. So what exactly is a quote? I mean, it's the same regular term it is that we talk about in business. And again, I'm using a simple definition. Just go ahead and Google different things, right? And I'm just showing this to you because a lot of information is available online when it is that you do the right kind of research. And so when you talk about a quote, many different persons can give you a quote. A lender can give you a quote. A lawyer can give you a quote, right? The person who works on your car can give you a quote as to how much it's going to cost to do some amount of repairs on your car. Particularly in real estate, when you talk about quotes, frequently we're speaking about contractor quotes for example, what's called the scope of work that needs to be done. So how much is it going to cost to do this? And this becomes extremely important because you could end up under budgeting. And with contracting, there are a lot of different things that may come up. So I'm using this very simple thing here from Bigger Pockets. Strongly recommend for anybody that's looking for information. And you'll see there are a lot of different replies here from many persons. And this person asked, what exactly is included in contractors' estimates? So again, you have a building, you're looking at getting something done, maybe adding an extra unit, maybe you're looking at remodeling the kitchen. What exactly is included in that contractor quote? So you'll go to a contract, you'll find a contractor first. If you're not a contractor, maybe you don't want to do it yourself because you may not be the best person for this job. And so you want to go ahead and find somebody that's skilled in what it is that you're looking to do. So that's the first thing. You realize that you're outsourcing the work it is that you need to be done. And so you find the contractor, let them know, and you need to firstly have defined the thing it is that you want done. Don't go to them and say that, what do you think? You are the one who owns the building. You're hiring them for a reason. They're called a contractor for a reason, not the owner of your building. And so a contractor's estimate can have whatever the two parties, as you and the contractor, agree upon. But it's your responsibility as the client, and this person named Ramon, who gave a very good response, and the rehab to tell the contractor exactly what you want in the estimate. And information that's left for interpretation will likely result in conflicts. For example, there's maybe ambiguity in terms of should I do this or should I do that? And so it's best to get the scope of work and the contract as detailed as possible to designate each party's responsibilities. Generally speaking, he'll provide all of the finished materials on the project, tile, cabinets, plumbing, light fixtures, etc. The contractor is responsible for the labor and rough materials. By rough materials, you mean like 2x wood materials, grout, mortar, screws, fittings, plumbing lines, wiring, etc. that are necessary to install and finish the materials. If you would have the contractor provide an all-inclusive estimate, that's labor plus finished materials, you need to provide the contractor the SKU numbers and product information in the scope of work. And there's an example of some scopes of work documents that they use here. So you can go ahead, find this here online. And so as you go ahead, and if you're owning buildings, or if you're owning a building, or if you own a home, right, you go ahead and you outsource these kinds of things to contractors because that's exactly what it is that they like to do. Some of them do not want to own buildings. Some people just want to go ahead and they go ahead and they want to do work on different buildings. And so if that's you, then I mean you're very familiar with that from a contractor style. I'm not a contractor, however, I understand how to work with them and supervise projects from start to finish and throughout what exactly that looks like. And so you go ahead and this is how it is that you talk about the scope of work and what exactly is this quote. And so get quotes, for example, from different contractors, right? You want to do business in an honorable way, however, you know, and so that's what we're talking about with our scope of work. In news this week, we're talking about different things. Canada approaching a last decade, Mounties consider renters a threat. And more recently today, we had some super interesting news. Canada is spending 75% of its forecast deficit to prop up mortgages. Is that so? Let me see which one I should. Let's take this one. Yeah, let's take this one. So we're seeing lots of different news here. I think that's extremely so positive. So number one, we're seeing where Canadian wealth is driven by housing, outpaced income up to 13x. Up to 13x. That's an article here by RBC. Majority of Canada's wealth is driven by housing and is creating a wealth gap that may be permanent. Are we going to a renter's economy? Analysis from RBC shows nearly half of household wealth has been driven by housing. Almost double the share in US saw in 2008. Home prices have grown up to 13x the rate of disposable income. So you're seeing where, wow. So housing is becoming a lot less affordable. As I mean, people's pay isn't going up, but a lot more people are buying housing, buying housing, buying housing. And so when you look at the different factors that combine, it causes home prices to go up. And so it's becoming a lot less out of the reach of other people. And while that helps boost wealth, it also pushes prices out of reach for the mass majority of Canadians. Not a problem for those that already own, but the circumstances lock all future generations from participating. Canadians present a major threat if they realize they won't own a home. Canadian standard of living plummets lower, approaching a lost decade. Toronto unemployment surges at 75,000 more unemployed people. Canada's largest cities adding a lot of people, and most of them aren't finding any work. Over the past year, Toronto has added a little over 100,000 workers to its labor force. Majority of that immigrants. Unfortunately, for every 4 workers it added, the number of unemployed people rose by a whatever that is that works out to 75K more unemployed people than a year ago. Canadians rank low on global mental well-being list. 1 in 4 people distressed. Well, it's already very cold, and then you have a whole bunch of other things here happening. So not looking good at all for in terms of the overview with news in Canadian real estate. And actually, this topic here, return on unemployment surges, you find a lot of cases with regards to immigration that majority of immigrants, persons in Canada may not see it this way, but persons outside of Canada, you'll understand. When people are coming to Canada, everybody wants to go to Toronto. Everybody wants to go to Toronto, not realizing that it's unaffordable. Uh, when it comes on to housing, not a lot of housing that's there and available. And so it may be more advantageous to somebody to go somewhere else, right? In Canada, for example, the Maritimes. If you're looking at going to the Maritimes, the Maritimes is looking to grow its population. And so it may be more, you'll find housing a lot more affordable. You'll find probably a better standard of living in your own situation. And so it's a big thing for immigrants to consider in terms of when it is that they are coming to Canada because I mean, you go there, all these people are there, all the jobs are taken. What on earth are you gonna do? Right? Where are you gonna work? And so that's why it is that you're seeing, or for example, news like this. Standard of living plummets low, approaching last decade. And I strongly suggest reading this article about how Canada is spending 75% of its mortgage deficit spending some of its forecast deficit to prop up mortgages. Why exactly is Canada doing that? And how exactly is that going to impact the years? And you'll see a very interesting thing in terms of how bonds and the relationship between mortgages and bonds are here related. So strongly suggest taking a read at that. It's coming around to summertime now. A lot more, less places are cold. A lot more listings will probably be coming up. And so houses that maybe have been on the market for a while now, watch how it is that a lot more houses come up now. And that's kind of normal coming around summertime. This let's see what will happen. It will be very, very interesting to see what will happen and the impact on price. Because people don't have money to spend. The bank is getting tighter. The bank is tighter now on lending, right? Lower loan to values is what it is that you are seeing. And cost of material is now up. So lots of and there's so much more. And then we also have rates to consider in doing different things here. So lots there to consider. And that concludes what I'll go over here for the real estate market. Now on to, so if you're in Canada, you're looking at uh, housing, then you realize it's going closer to a renter's economy. And so you want to go ahead and acquire a property, whatever that may look like for you. You know, each person's situation is different. You're asking me, buy an investment property, right? If you're probably talking with a lot of different experts, they'll probably tell you to buy an investment property as well, right? I mean, it's great having your own principal residence, and you know, obviously, people want that, and that will be factored into your whole thing. You have to make your own independent decision, but you want to put your money where it is that it's going to be working for you for the long term. And real estate is one of those proven investments that people are used to. They understand fairly, and so you want to go ahead and do that. In the cryptocurrency market, let's look what we're seeing here. We're seeing where Bitcoin is now at $67,300. That's USD after breaking a new all-time high last week. $67,000, breaking a new all-time high. Look at this all-time. This up lots of green and lots of lots of digits in terms of since its inception. The halving is in 33 days from now. And again, you want to zoom out. This is a picture between 2011 and today. So because people simply ask, is Bitcoin too expensive to buy now? I can't tell you that. It depends on your own personal situation. You know, what are your goals? What I do know is that zooming out and looking at this chart, today you're looking at 67.3 thousand, but zooming out and looking at the chart, what you're seeing is that people back here in this year, what's this? 2017, probably thought that it was too expensive when it was 16,000. And again, investing is, or if you're speculating, whichever one, is 10% action, 90% waiting. It's in the patience. So people in 2017 who even bought at this high, they're smiling right now because they've already, what is this, 4x what it is that they made. It took you a bit of time, you know, what, 7 years. But hey, again, it took time, but it happened. In 4 or 5 years from now, I can't tell you what's going to happen. Who knows? This could go to zero. That's the truth. Everything could go to zero. That's what many people will not tell you. I mean, obviously, that's probably not going to be. You know, you see ETFs coming out and everything. That provides kind of solidity for a lot of people. But we're seeing lots of different stuff happening here in the crypto market. Uh, Same situation. Now we're seeing $2.5 trillion here in the market. Of that, 52.1% is in Bitcoin, 16.7% is in Ethereum. And I'm going to go over the week here in review. Right after I go over what exactly is quorum and how does that relate to governance here in crypto. So a quorum is the minimum number of members of an assembly or group that must be present at any of its meetings to make the proceedings of that meeting valid. So if there are 10 people present in a group and you need 5 for a quorum, and therefore you can't make any decisions because you need to have a fifth person there. So a quorum, so how does this relate to cryptocurrency, for example? A quorum is the minimum number of members of an assembly or group that must be present at any of its meetings to make the proceedings of that meeting valid. In a business context, companies will often stipulate the quorum of shareholders that are required to be present in order to make a binding decision. The quorum can be as simply as a 51% majority. In other cases, some groups and firms come to more specific arrangements. There are even guidelines that exist that companies can draw upon in order to determine the appropriate formula for their quorum. To clarify, there is no definitive number, percentage, or formula that universally constitutes a quorum. However, best practices suggest that a quorum is, at minimum, established as a simple majority of members within an organization. Otherwise, people could just go ahead and make whatever decisions that they made, you know. Uh, Two of us are here and we make a decision that's going to impact the entire company. Great. But because of a quorum, you know, you can't really just go ahead and do that. Whatever the case may be, the quorum number of percentage needs to be representative of members in a decision-making role. For example, you own stocks, you actually have shares in a company, but are you one of the big decision makers? No, because you probably own maybe, you know, $1,000 worth of stocks, or even if you're in even $100,000 worth of stocks, $1 million worth of stocks. This company is valued at, for example, $100 million. You're not, or you know, $1 billion, whatever it may be. You're not going to be one of those decision makers, and so that's key there to also look at. So that's what a quorum there is in terms of governance with what we're talking about. This comes into play when we're talking about DAOs, as decentralized autonomous organizations there as well. So in the last 7 days, what are we looking at? Bitcoin is down 7% after the last 7 days. Ethereum is also down 12%. 13% in the last 7 days. Solana is up 34%. Lots of stuff happening here in the Solana ecosystem. New coins coming out, not just dog with fat, but there's one I was looking at more recently as well. But dog with fat did have dog with fat is the name of cryptocurrency, meme coin specifically. And that's been pumping, pumping, pumping a lot. And so Avalanche is also up 27%. Cardano down 16, Dodge down 19, Shiba down 19, Polkadot down 12, Toncoin up 19. So lots of different chains there are experiencing growth. You know, layer ones and layer twos and meme coins that we're seeing there. Polygon is down 16. Let's see. So crazy just look at somebody probably looking at stocks is like, what? This is what the cryptocurrency market does. Litecoin is down 19. Uh, Immutable X is down 22. Arbitrum is down 21. Most things are going to be down because, you know, you saw Bitcoin at an all-time high last week. And naturally, as that happens, market sentiment increases and you're seeing a lot more people have confidence, and that's transferred down into everywhere else, really, all the other coins, as one may say, all the other forms of technology. H bar is down 14. Let's see if we have some crazy losers. Optimism down 28. I think that's the biggest we've seen so far. Dog with fat, this is the meme coin we're talking about here, up 24%. Lido DAO down 26. Jupiter, whoop, up 83%, up 90%. This thing is moving, 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 83%. That's crazy. One to watch. Let's see what happens. Flocky is down 31%. Classic meme coin behavior. Affected more than everything else. Bitcoin SV down 29%. Let me scroll and see if I see anything else that is crazy. OX protocol ZRX is up 44%. SATS is down 25% here. Let's go on page 2 now and see what we're seeing here. Regular movements 15 to 25%. Space ID is up 28%. That's different because everything else is really down. Radium absolutely smashing it and doing a 91% over the last 7 days. Huh. Mantra, as OM is up 158%. I don't think this coin was even in the top 150 or even 200 7 days ago. So Mantra and Radium we see as two big hitters there. Book of Meme, geez. is up 1,008%. I think this is based off of Solana blockchain, actually. Yeah, this is what I was talking about. 1,008%, people. 1,008%. Can you imagine that? Um, I wonder if they were able to sell if there's enough liquidity. I've seen $2 billion. That's crazy. SSV network up 44%. Book of meme. If there's any, can't be anything else here. That's AMP is up 46%. We're seeing there. Trader Joe is up 79%. So we're seeing some crazy movements here with different coins. So you're seeing where Book of Meme, one to watch for maybe a pullback, where you can go ahead and accumulate. Now, this is where it is that you probably don't want to buy. This is at an all-time high. Book of Meme, although it's fairly new, but 1,007%. Wow, not even Pepe did that in such a short period of time. Just look at the chart and then I'll stop there. Book of Meme. 10 at number 10 in the last 24 hours. Market cap 145. That's absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. Book of Meme. An experimental project poised to redefine Web3 culture by amalgamating memes. Go to this here. Yeah. Decentralized storage solutions and degen shitcoin trading and gambling. This experiment endeavors to encapsulate the ever-evolving meme culture. Like, what is this, you know? That's absolutely crazy. That's what we're seeing there in the cryptocurrency market. Crazy stuff like this. And the coin was launched just on the 15th. So a couple days ago, literally. A couple days ago, literally. Right? The last really big meme coin we're talking about here would have been Dog with Hat, or right before that, Pepe. Pepe. So let's see what Dog with Hat is going on with here. Dog with Hat is at number 47. No fundamentals. Absolutely no fundamentals. As Ivan and Tech would say, pure pumpamentals. Like there's nothing that's, well, it's all just human behavior right here. Look at the volume. Last 24 hours, 18, ranked number 48. People love the memes. People love the meme coins. That's probably why what's it called? Pump so much actually. Book of memes, because it probably brought together all the different meme communities, whatever you want to call them. That's absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. We saw where Ethereum had an upgrade the other day of the Dencon upgrade. Should see reduced gas fees, but let's see. Dog with Fat launched a few days, launched about a month or so ago. Yeah, close to a month ago, and is still pumping $2.06, $2.50. So that's that. Again, this is very, very risky stuff, people. Very, very risky stuff. But there's money to be made. And at the all-time high with Bitcoin, I can tell you that people made money in terms of, realized gains or unrealized gains, whether you sold or not. So that's that. Stay tuned for more. Will join us again next week and we'll do the same thing, same place, same time. And that's that. So see you again next week. So recapping, getting started with regards to Rich Dad, Poor Dad, we talked about, what did we talk about again? What did we talk about again? Here we go. Right. Mastering, one thing, and the benefit in learning quickly. Then with real estate, we talked about quotes in real estate, cryptocurrency, we talked about quorums in crypto, and not looking good at all for the Canadian real estate market. Gulf Canada is paying 75% of its forecast prop deficit to prop up mortgages. We're seeing where unemployment is on the rise, and where Canada's wealth is driven by housing and outpaced income by up to 13x. That's absolutely crazy. So that's that for today, people. And I'm going to pause there for now. I'm going to be only on Zoom, and see you later, Facebook, or for the recording, or whoever is watching this. So I'm going to pause there for now. Stop the live stream. Stop. And